Are you settling for average? Let's unlock the habits that empower the top clothing store owners to success. Number one, they do not waste time. Have you ever noticed that some people are able to get more done in a day than others do in weeks? It's because that they know how to manage their time and there isn't any waste. They know that 15 minutes is 3% of their day, and time spent doing nothing is time that they will never get back. Now, I believe you should take breaks from deeply focused tasks and clear your head, but be very cautious of your time and be cognizant of that. Highly successful people also know how to block their calendar and follow it like a drill sergeant. Guarding this time will not only protect you from the mishaps, but will allow you to level up faster. I'm gonna be talking through a wide variety of skills that I know successful clothing store owners have. And no, most of them are not actual technical skills. All right, so number two is that they know how to negotiate and network. You can always find someone to help, but in a win-win situation, that is even more critical for success. How can you create a great relationship with your vendors, your marketing agency, the software that you use, your employees? Learning to leverage your network and go deeper than surface level will allow you to unlock levels that most people don't ever even get to. I would also say that the ability to negotiate contracts, your rent for manufacturing, advertising, apps, etc., are what will give you that 3 to 5% edge over the competition. Now, what you're going to see is that the areas I'm talking about here are small percentages, but each one of them compounded is actually massive. All right, so number three is that they give without question. The rule of reciprocity is alive and well. Giving back to employees, giving to the knowledge base of people who are coming up in the space. This is also giving a little extra to your customers when they don't ask. In each area of your life and business, find a way to go above and beyond and be a person of abundance, not scarcity. Giving always pays dividends. Let's start to get into some specifics and action steps now. All right, so number three is constant education. You will learn on the job, absolutely. I had a conversation about this with one of our employees earlier this week who is trying to level up in what they do, and they've spent a lot of their time in the 9 to 6. They've been doing the really good job in the 9 to 6, but to level up, you have to go outside of that. You would need to learn from your peers, but the education you do in the off hours is where you will jump ahead. That's where you beat other people. These trailblazers are watching YouTube, buying courses, reading books, listening to podcasts, and taking everything that they have learned, putting into action, and they are constantly testing and moving from the stage of knowledge to knowing. There is a big difference there, so think about that for a second. So when I first started running, it had nothing to do with marathons, and then I was deciding like, a marathon would actually make a lot of sense. I had a bunch of knowledge about running. I even read a ton of things about running a marathon. I even downloaded a plan and was like, well, this is great. But it wasn't until I actually put in the work that I started to get the idea or the knowing about running. But even then, it was not until actually finishing and running a marathon did I have the actual knowing of doing it. So consuming the knowledge is one piece, right? And that's the part that most people end up in. Now, I believe that Alex Hormozi says this, said
that if you continue to act the same way in the same circumstance, you have learned nothing. And so if you go through a semester and your circumstances have not changed and neither has your behavior, you have learned nothing.
And so that's the knowledge phase. So many people are in love with gaining knowledge, just like you probably are with this video. But if you don't take this and actually implement it, then you never move to the knowing stage. So just like I had to learn how to run and then finally finish a marathon to get to the knowing stage, you have to take this information, implement it to get to the knowing stage. And that is what's going to help you go to that absolute next level. All right, so number five is that they put in the sweat equity. I cannot tell you if you've never experienced it, but I just really can't explain it that well. I don't think anybody can. And I'm probably addicted to it, honestly. But I do believe that addiction to some things are okay, or at least better than some. But I'm here to confess to you all right here that I am addicted to sweating. There's nothing like it. Let me explain with a story. So in my opinion, and I think this may be true for many of you who have experienced this, is that working out and sweating is much harder than anything you'll ever do at work. What happens is when you wake up at a certain time in the morning, which we'll talk about that a little bit later, if you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning or earlier to get in a workout and then you push yourself at the gym or around the track or wherever you end up doing that work, that's tough. It's very tough mentally, but what it does do is it works that muscle, pun intended, to actually be able to handle the stresses of the day. It also allows you to think more clearly and allows you to beat out the other competition. Because I guarantee you the person who wakes up at 8, 9 a.m. in the morning, just rolls out of bed, goes to work, has no clue how to handle a situation as well as somebody who has been up early, who has sweat, who has taken a shower, who has already went through a ton of different things before them and is put in that time and work. And I don't really want to alienate and say you must work out to be successful, but I will tell you that in some way, shape, or form, whether it's walking, running, lifting, jogging, whatever you end up doing, you will become a better business owner. If you're a clothing store owner and really need an actionable plan to put into place for your store, you need that blueprint. If that's you, I would highly suggest for you to jump on a free 45-minute strategy session. There is a link in the description down below where we're gonna come up with an actual real plan for you. We are real people, and so we do have limited spots for that. So if that's of interest for you, check out the link in the description. We'll see you on the other side. All right, so number 6, right here, they are the dumbest people in the room, hands down. If you find yourself as the brightest person on any team or the smartest person in that room, leave the room, find a way out. You'll never grow. Or if you do, it'll really take you a long time, which that's not what we have here, right? This clothing space is a way too competitive an arena for you to lose time and then to spin it around people who are not smarter than you. It's just not feasible. Stay humble and seek that wisdom. So many people want to be the smartest person in the room, and that's fine, and it works for a period of time, but then you really just fizzle out. We have coaches in our business for us too, because there's blind spots, right? So in early stage for us, we would have never, both Christian and I, would have never got a second office. Because one, it was like, why would we pay more money financially if everybody can fit into one office? Why would we go through all the hassle of building something out? Like, there were so many reasons not. And then our coaches talked to us and said, well, have you thought about this? Here's a blind spot that you may not have seen. What happens when you separate yourself from a different office? What happens there? Do you get more quiet time? Do you get more clarity with different spaces? Does a different environment affect the way that you make decisions? And I will tell you right now that that move was a big decision to make, but also had a big impact. We're recording in that new office right now, so those YouTube videos would have been a lot harder to do. They would have disrupted our employees. They would have disrupted the workflow, but also it allowed Christian and I to have a place in a spot where we could have one-on-one conversations or two-on-one conversations or come up with bigger ideas, draw on this blackboard back here and think through things, that those ideas had more than paid for that office. But I'll tell you right now, we have blind spots in our business, and so do you. So you have to be and seek smarter people to be around to help you see the blind spots in your business. All right, so number 7 here is the biggest and most important part, I believe, in business, and has nothing to do with business, is that they prioritize their health. This is completely different than sweating. I think that's part of it. Well, there is a part of this with sweating, but what I'm really talking about is nutrition, sleep, relationships, your affirmations, what you think about yourself. Check your bank account and you'll see where your priorities lie. I guarantee you, if you look at your bank account, you'll see where you spend your money and where your priorities lie. I promise you that there is no bigger dividend in your business or life than your health. A couple of quick stories here. So in baseball, there's only the possibility of the most amount of runs you can score at one time is 4. Literally, you hit a grand slam, you get 4 runs. That's it. That is all you can do. In business, you could do something that goes from 0 to 100. You could do something that goes 0 to 1,000. But my point is, the chances of that happening are very slim in the beginning and very slim if you're not able to focus on the longevity. In business, it is really about being able to play the long game. The longer that you can play the game, the chances of your success continually go up. What I mean by that is, if you take care of yourself mentally, physically, and with nutrition, you can play the game longer. You won't be the person who's 45, 50 years old and had a stroke, or type 2 diabetes. It's not the person who can't play with their kids. It's not the person who can't work the long hours. Because in business, you probably already know this, I'm not preaching hustle culture here, but I am preaching that you are going to have to put in the time and effort. Nobody really sees the time and effort that's needed, the early mornings, the late nights, But if you don't take care of your health, you can only do that for a short period of time. And so then that guy that's down the street who's taking care of himself, who may not be a better business owner, outpaces you because they're able to play the game longer. This will not happen all at once. And not everyone will be able to do all of these things that I mentioned. By definition, you're already in the top 3% of the world. Now, getting to the top 1% of the top 3%, it's not likely to happen for most. But I honestly do not think that you're most. Success in these areas will happen brick by brick, day by day, over time. What you're reading today, I promise you, and this was so true for me, what you are reading today will be your future in 3 years. It is crazy how that happens. What you're consuming today is your future in the next 3 years. If you're not investing in yourself now, if your people, in your health, in your mental game, if you're not investing those, it will not last. But if you do put in the time here, you will be successful. If you play the game long enough, you will win. And if you're a clothing store owner who wants an action plan to grow and take your brand to the next level, make sure you go watch this video right here next. You'll have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time. And P.S., make sure you hit that subscribe button.